Hi, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. Um, this reading is for the collective, whoever, whenever, wherever. I hope you guys are doing okay, doing fantastic. Just a little bit of smudge. I kept hearing, you told him once, you told him twice. I feel like, and then I've also been hearing, you saw it, you said it, they didn't believe you. I feel like you have been witness to something that you have been trying to express, trying to share, trying to say, and you've been telling people, and in their denial or refusal to believe you, the situation has become exacerbated. It has become very, very, very obvious what you were saying now, right? What you're look at this just going crazy. So much smoke coming off of this right now. So we're taking a deep breath. The thing is that you saw it. You I heard witnessed it. You bore witness to it. So you truly saw something, and you said, "Hey, this is what's going on. Did you guys see that? Did you see that?" It's going to be different for each of you if you told a single person or if you told a crowd. But the bottom line is that they didn't want to believe you, so they didn't. And now it's becoming quite obvious. So let's see what this was about. Ancestors, spirits, guide. What is this about? What would you like to talk to the collective about today? Helgas, disruption, the hailstone. Interesting too, because it's hailing outside right now. We're getting like a sleet, rain. So be careful out there, slippery roads, things happening, but it's the change of seasons, all around the world, whether you're in the northern or southern hemisphere. It is the change, but this talks about like a disruption, like something that's like beyond your control that is put here, to disrupt. Look, disruptive natural forces, Helgas. Change, freedom, invention, and liberation are all attributes of this rune. Drawing it indicates a pressing need within the psyche to break free from constricting identification with material reality and to experience the world of the archetypal mind. The rune of elemental disruption, of events totally beyond your control. Hagalaz has only an upright position, and yet it operates always through reversal. When you draw this rune, expect disruption of your plans, for it is the great awakener, although the form the awakening takes may vary. Perhaps you will experience a gradual feeling of coming to your senses, as though you were emerging from from a long sleep. Then again, the onset of power may be such as to rip away the fabric of what you previously knew as your reality, your security, your understanding of yourself, your work, your relationships, or beliefs. Be aware, however, that what operates here is not ultimately an outside force, not a situation of you at the mercy of externals. Your own nature is creating what's happening, and you are not without power in this situation. The inner strength you have funded until now in your life is your support and guide at this time when everything you've taken for granted is being challenged. Receiving this rune puts you on notice. You may sustain a loss or damage. A tree falls on your home. A relationship fails, plans go wrong, or a source of supply dries up. But do not be dismayed. You are forewarned and therefore encouraged to understand and accept what occurs as necessary for your growth. There is nothing trivial about this rune. The more severe the disruption of your life, the more significant and timely the requirements of your growth. Another of the psycho runes, this term radical discontinuity best describes the action of Hagalaz at its most forceful. The universe and your soul are demanding that you do indeed grow. Now listen, guys, I think you are the disruption. I think you are the one who brought this disruption on, or at least forewarned about it, saw it coming, knew. I mean, you could read the weather, right? Like this morning here, as the sun broke over the horizon, the whole eastern sky lit up red. And it's like, remember that old rhyme? Skies red at night, a sailor's delight. Skies red in morning, a sailor's warning. Like you could read the signs, you could see this coming, you witnessed something. You saw that red morning dawn and knew that there was a storm a brewing. Right? And whether or not they believed you, I don't think they did, but they're going to have to now because the storm is here, the disruption is here. And this is what I'm talking about, like the great awakener. I believe wholeheartedly because of the messages that I've been getting and receiving. You saw it, you said it. They didn't believe you. You are the great awakener in this situation. They're going to mark your words. And not only are they going to mark your words now that they see what is happening, they're going to have to admit that you were right. Even if they don't vocalize that to you, they're going to, I can hear them saying like, oh shit, I should have listened. Let's get some tarot out. I have the karma cards and I have the picnic tarot or the food tarot, whatever this is called. But I was really, really drawn and wanting to pull the Game of Thrones. The sun on the bottom as we start. Ancestors, spirits, guides. Can you please tell us what this is about? What is this disruption? What did they see? What did they say? What was, who didn't believe them? What happened? And what can be done now? What is this? Why are we being told this? Ancestor spirit. We're going to get a Celtic cross, you guys, if we're doing it like this. Let's just pull a good old Celtic cross. There's a card popping up here. 6 of coins. 6 of coins. And that's, the spider, right? You mind, like anything this guy gives you, he's giving with an ulterior motive, right? He's doing it to build stock, to build, you owe him, right? And it came out, flipped it over in the reverse, right? You don't owe anybody anything. All right, let's see. This is where we're staying. What's the challenge? What's the challenge? Like something is being, I'm hearing retrieved. What is the challenge here? The sun, all of the things that are being revealed right now. Okay. It is being revealed right now. What was given, what was taken, what was being held on to, right? Who had ulterior motives? Why? You're standing in this position. You're like, I'm not giving another moment of my time, another red cent. I'm not giving another bit of my attention until I see what is actually happening here, because I see what is actually happening here. That's what's happening. Here's this little dragon. And people don't believe in dragons. It's funny because I just changed my Facebook profile to a dragon that I painted, and it was like, I painted all these blobs on the canvas, and then what was emerging from the blobs, just like when we read the crystal ball or we read clouds or tea leaves or coffee grounds or any of it, what was coming out, what was emerging. And right on the elbow there was a figure, and right on the elbow of the figure there was a dragon. Right? And it talks about bravery. And on the elbow, it talks about having the ability to choose which direction you're going. And this is like defensive boundaries, right? In that painting I was painting, here's this little dragon coming out, seeing, and there's this wall. It's like knowing what's beyond on the other side, understanding that something that other people might think is fantastic, like fantastical, fantasy, unreal, you see in full daylight. And you see the potential of this little thing and what it can become, right? And maybe the damage that it can cause. And you're like, hey guys, we shouldn't mess with dragons. We shouldn't be messing around with them. We shouldn't be playing, because there is the potential of disruption, deep disruption. Where is this coming from, spirit? Where is this coming from? What started this? Look at 6 of swords. Wow, 6, 2 6s and 2 19s. I just want to show you this. Helgaz is number 19. The sun is number 19 of the tarot. We've only got 3 cards out and a rune. And we already have 2 6s and 2 19s. This also has to do with our relationships with each other. And when I looked on the bottom, it was judgment. Judgment. Mm. This is coming, you're coming to this point. This is happening because you became aware of something. You changed your mind. Again, you stopped giving to something. And when you saw what was actually happening, when you saw the potential of this disruption, of the destruction, of the capability of this thing that everybody else didn't even believe is real, you changed your focus and started moving in a different direction. You stopped giving. You stopped taking, maybe you stopped receiving from something that would obligate you to continue on this not so great path here. Right. What's crowning this? What's crowning this whole reading? What is this about, Spirit? There's that judgment card comes out again, guys. The Night King. Mm-hmm. And it keeps coming back and it keeps coming back. There's this idea of like you've been through this, like been there, done that, you've learned this before. You know better now. That's what's crowning this whole thing. A judgment call. The Great Awakener, right? The Great Awakener. And this talks about your understanding of what you previously found as your security, your understanding of yourself, your work, right? Your relationships, sixes, your beliefs. We go from the 19 to the 20, right? There's definitely some, I'm hearing there's some growing up to do. What is and then six, wow. The Six of Cups, guys. The foundation of this is like where you're coming from. The people who are familiar to you, your soulmates. Right? Like they might not be, these people around you might not be believing you because y'all come from the same place. And that's just unheard of there. And they're thinking maybe you know better than to disrupt that apple cart. And they're not believing you because they see that you're starting to think differently than them and that you've stopped giving to this. There's like this conversation. These two characters here come from the same place and they have very, very, very different perceptions of the same situation because of their experiences. Their own individual experiences. So while, I don't know if you've seen the show, but Jon Snow and Sansa, they're brother and sister, right? And Jon Snow is very pure of heart. He's very sweet. He's very noble. He's very, very brave. Right? So he thinks in his heart of hearts that this what needs to be done. Sansa has seen the dark side. She has been subject to the repercussions of believing and trusting the wrong people, of being put in positions where she didn't have any control over the situation and she was at the will and whim of evil people. And her smarts is what got her out, is what saved her. Her tenacity, her smarts, her bravery. So she's telling Jon, you don't know who you're dealing with. And Jon's like, no, I understand the situation. And she's like, no, you really don't. She's telling him, I see this differently. I see the potential of disruption and destruction. You're overestimating your own, she's telling him, right? You're telling someone, you're overestimating your own ability to contain and control this situation. I'm not giving any more to it because I see and I have to make this judgment call based on my experiences. And my experiences have taught me something different. And this person, like, are they going to, like, they didn't believe you at first, just like Jon didn't believe her. And he had to go into battle and see who Ramsay really was. If you guys haven't watched the show, it's excellent. But that's basically the synopsis here. Where is this going, Spirit? Where is this going? Two, Page of Cups, Knight of Spears. Wow. Two characters, two people, right? The page, messages, Knight of Spears, movement, action. You know, this might be an apology of refusing to take action, or I see where my hubris got me. Right? Or they could be offering you some sort of apology or sentiment and still not understanding the full breadth of what it is you're trying to express to them. They are still too arrogant. They're still too cocky. They still think they know better. And they're like patting you on the head, like patronizing you. Jaime Lannister. They think they know better, and you're like, listen, dude, I'm just trying to tell you. I'm just trying to tell you from this loving space. It's like, and I don't think anybody's really trying to fight or argue here. I think that there is like a differences of perception and opinion because you have experience that shows you that this whole scenario, that giving too much to this thing, whatever that is for you, you're seeing the potential of where it can grow in the negative, and you're trying to share this with maybe one other person, maybe a whole bunch of people, someone that you have a relationship with, that you care about, that just quite isn't quite ready to see it on, the truth on truth's terms, life on life's terms here. Sometimes we want to believe something is something so much that, and we don't have the experience to fully grasp what it could be. You understand it. Mm-hmm. Ancestors, where are you? Where are the queers? Where's the collective? Where are they standing right now? How are people seeing them? Where's this? Like, you're letting go of it, and you've made up your mind to not even go down that direction anymore. 10 of Spears, 2 of Spears in the reverse. It's like you're not even excited about it anymore. They can see you choosing. Look at her. She's looking at this dragon. She's the mother of dragons. It's like you're not at a crossroads about this. You've already made up your mind, and you've already gone in the other direction. And you've let go of the burden. You're not stressed about it. And they're kind of like, what is going on? Why don't you want to participate in this? Don't you want to come back and hang out with us? Come on, we're all in this together. You're not giving to this anymore, but you see the truth of the situation. You see where this disruption lies, and you see, it's not worth it to fight about it, because you know what's going to happen here. Your inner strength that you have funded in your life up to now is your support and guide at a time when everything you've taken for granted is being challenged. Okay? Where is everybody else around you? Not wanting to feel left out, not wanting to be left out, not wanting to leave you out. Like, the situation around you is that there is a separation here, and I don't think you're going to go sit at that table. And I don't think that they're necessarily, like, you're not welcome. Again, like, you're welcome there, but it isn't someplace you want to be. You aren't feeling left out about it. They're kind of confused about it, but they're like, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Yeah. Where is this headed? What is the hopes? What is the fears? What is the hopes and fears of this situation here? 3 of Swords. See what I'm talking about? You're really afraid that there's going to be a separation, triangulation. People are going to get what's coming, even though you tried to tell them, and then you vacated the premises so that you weren't part of the repercussions here. And maybe they felt abandoned. Maybe they feel abandoned by this, and they're like, what the heck is going on? And you're like, bro, I'm trying to tell you here. Sis, I'm trying to tell you here. Yo, peeps, this is what's going on. And then, like, everybody's like, what? But it's all coming to light. Where is this coming? Where is this going? What is the outcome of this? Mm-hmm. Lack of investment, and whoever this is, remember we talked about at the beginning, this person has ulterior motives at the very beginning, not giving to that because it has ulterior motives. Here is greed. Here is somebody who is lazy. The outcome of this is that anything anybody invested in this is going to be lost materially. They could lose their space, they could lose their place. It's all going to be like being sucked in by somebody who maybe sucked them into their vortex of debt here. But you aren't carrying the burden of that because you knew better and you didn't walk into it. What's on the bottom here? 3 of Spears in the reverse, guys. You tried to tell them. You tried to tell them. They just didn't listen. And now, so here's the confirmation for you. Don't get sucked back in. You are Sansa sitting here at this situation. Listen to yourself, and if through their denial, they're refusing to heed the warning here that you're presenting them, and that the universe is presenting them via you, through you, then they're going to get what they're going to get. Ancestors, spirits, guides, can you please tell us? I'm really curious about this. Like a bunch jumped out, and it's like, let's see. It's the Wheel of Fortune. The King of Swords. Look at that. Luck changes. Everything changes when you make a clear-cut decision based on the facts, taking your emotions out of it, taking you're like, just look at this here. You're looking at a dragon. You're looking at a dragon. You know he's a dragon. You know that there's going to be the potential for growth and this thing getting too much power, and you know what it will do, and you know where this is leading, right? There's a judgment call. You might need to even be seeking higher authority to come through and make this. You might like when the meeting of the King of Swords and the Judgment in the same thing. It might actually be like a legal call. It might actually be like a boss or somebody who has to step in, who has authority over the situation, or authority in this regard, and say, this is the facts, this is how it lines up, and this is what's going to happen, and that's how this is going to change. Knight of Wands. Now the Knight of Wands again in the upright this time, so that you can get moving forward, so that action can be taken, so that you can get back into a space where you're inspired and moving forward, right? It's demanding that you do indeed grow. So while all of them are going through this and listening and having to learn from not listening and suffering the repercussions, you, my dear, are also learning something quite valuable about your ability to perceive, about your quick thinking, about you trusting your gut, about you trusting your knowing, your previous experience, right? That you tried your best to tell them about what was going on before it happened. Four of Wands, Two of Cups in reverse. Yeah, Three of Swords. This could have to do with again, foundations and stability. You are able to now set off in a new direction. You've been doing this, establish a new sense of home, a new sense of stability. Where do you want to put your stakes in the ground and start building, right? This is a celebration. And you could be celebrating the fact that you don't have to engage with the King of Coins in the reverse anymore. Like this energy doesn't have any kind of emotional control, emotional sway, or emotional attachment to you anymore, because you knew better in the first place. Look at this. Eight of Swords in the reverse on the bottom. So I had to take a little pause for a second. I still have this cold. That's why we're not on camera. And I will be getting some sign readings out for you guys as soon as I clear up a little bit more. And I can, vocalize a little bit better. If you were, I'm hearing entrapment. If there was a feeling of entrapment or actual, like you avoided being, again, obligated via your participation to someone else, to the repercussions of this action here, you're free from it. Not only are you physically free from it, not only are you free from that karmic wave that came in from this, that had to be received by others. You weren't sticking around for that. You weren't waiting on that. You aren't thinking about it either. Like, it's not you're not trapped in your head about this. You are truly free from it to go ahead and start the new, to enjoy that wheel of, like, it like really opens things up. It's a huge disruption, and yet it's for your greatest and highest good, right? Because you understand that and accepting that what occurred here is natural and necessary for your growth. Radical discontinuity. You are radically conduit. What is that? continuity, continue. You refuse to continue. You did not complete the circuit. You saw, you knew, you made a different choice, and you still did it lovingly, diplomatically, considerately. Wow, I always come back to Tool. Tool's probably my favorite band, and it's like this song called H, and it's like considerately killing me. I might have to take that out. It's a song lyric, but it's about this thing that he's stuck to, this thing that he's addicted to, that is so kindly sucking the life right out of him, taking every little bit. And you're no longer down for that. You see the disruption, you see the necessity of it. We have Cancer here. Your feelings, attitudes from the past about, use your intuition. And Four of Wands and your home space, Cancer, fourth house. Virgo. Wow. Methods for the healing power of your feelings. Methods for the healing power of your feelings, your thoughts, your perceptions, your experiences, how you perceive those experiences and what you think about them, right? And you're like, I really learned a lot. I really learned a lot from everything that I've experienced before. This is a judgment call. This is something that has happened before, things coming back up from the past, right? Six of Swords. You really learned a lot, and you moved through it. So much was revealed to you. Were these 19s and sixes. The analyzing of your attitudes about the past. Letting that shit go. Letting that shit go, right? Resulting from the perfectionism of use your intuition. I believe right now that the south node of the moon is in Virgo, which makes want to be extra perfectionist, which is like there's no such thing as perfection. And I think that that's really important to know here. Three of Swords, King of Coins, because this King of Coins in reverse could be Virgo energy in reverse, which is perfectionism, being judgmental, right? And then there's this idea of like the negative of Earth being laziness, being sedentary, being stubborn, and in a way being greedy. And it's like using your intuition about someone's behavior or the way that this situation is going, really seeing it differently, maybe even trying to convince others, hey, this is what's happening. They might need to just see it for themselves. And you planted that seed, so when all this comes around, they can have that aha moment. Like, oh, collective was right. That's what they were talking about. Damn, I should have listened. As a full-time job. Maybe this has something to do with your work, but it is a full-time job. How we perceive ourselves, how we perceive in our emotions, whether or not we allow them to take us over, whether or not we allow ourselves to be trapped in a mind prison, right? Serving. Who is it serving? What is it serving? Guys, sixth house. Whose house is the sixth house? Virgo. All this six energy. Do a little at a time. A little at a time. Especially, if you've had to defend yourself or experience a whole lot of people doing the most. What does that serve? Well, this person is serving themselves. So it's the very, very first thing we started off with Lord Varys here, the spider. If he's giving you something, he's definitely he's taking something, he's getting something out of it. He's not giving it to you altruistically, right? And you see that, the sun, and what could possibly happen. Look at the bottom. Spirituality to ultimately experience as a full-time job. Could you imagine? I think you're there. I think that this is part of what they consider fantastic, right? One of these fantastical things is that living in your truth, living in your authenticity, living in your intuition and your spirit as a full-time job, coming out of that material plane, right? That radical discontinuity. This person is very materialistic to the point where they don't care who they hurt or what they have to do in order to get what they're getting, even if it means that losing out. Maybe somebody lost their house. Maybe somebody lost their place. Maybe somebody lost their job, right? It talks about loss in here. But you didn't have to suffer those consequences because you saw it coming. And then we have the Four of Wands, which means that there's like a regaining of something new. So maybe if that wasn't the table that you were sitting at, you went and set your own table. Right. These people seem to have lost their entire table here. Trusting your psychic knowledge of the full-time job of living in your intuition, of living in your knowing, of your living in your experience, of trusting spirit, of trusting yourself. Okay? Resulting from the indecision of or about the King of Swords, Judgment, Wheel of Fortune. You've made your decisions in Pisces, the intuition knowing, right? The intuition of. Sorry, I'm just like, this seems like such a mess. Let's just see. There. Is that better for anybody who might have some kind of like, there we go. It's the Knight of Wands. This is how it came out. We're putting it back in here. Okay. Anybody who might want to have seen some of that extra here. Get some tea leaf cards. We open it up. Look, the sun again. Happiness and well-being, flowers, happiness. Happiness twice. Happiness twice coming out. I'm telling you, you're going to be so happy that you listened to yourself. You might be a little bit disappointed in others. You might be a little bit hurt that, that they didn't just heed your warning about this disruption. But you are going to be super happy that you listen to yourself, that you took that action. You're going to be super happy that you let go of this burden before it became more of a burden for you. Look, crown with honor and respect will come to you. I'm telling you, they're going to recognize what you said and what you did. Even if they don't tell you, they will acknowledge it to themselves. Look, a two-faced friend. That's what I'm saying. Someone might be like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally listening to you. I hear you." And then behind your back, they just go do the thing anyway. And they learn the hard way. Someone might be talking crap and encourage, like just like John here, like didn't mean to encourage others to walk into a terrible battle because they didn't give Sansa's advice, her experience, enough credence, and they had to learn the hard way. Younger man, dealings or relationships with the younger man. We did have the Knight of Wands out twice. That's fire sign energy. It doesn't have to be a fire. It's like, it doesn't have to be the Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Unless you know somebody's full chart, you should be mindful of projection in that sense. Just know that it's somebody who is passionate, excited, has a lot of hubris, acts before thinking, doesn't have any patience, right? Gets very, very excited. Look, and as we're talking about that, dealings or relationships with a younger man, Knight of Wands, the torch comes out. Spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. Your spirit is demanding that you do indeed grow. And this is that challenge to say, yes, I learned. I tried to teach. I tried to show. Now they got to learn theirs too. This disruption is here. As I say, that kangaroo in unsettled times. A need to plan ahead. That's the disruption. The need to plan ahead because somebody, this is might just be for one or two of you, but somebody could have lined themselves up with a bad banker. And you're like, no, man, I know better, or a loan officer, or maybe they're buying something large, right? And you're like, I wouldn't go with that company. I wouldn't go with that person. I wouldn't do that because in my experience or what I've seen in my life, that's a bad contract. That's not, it's not even the contract. It's like the shisty person themselves that's doing this, you know? Can that do with the younger man? Maybe you're the younger man, but you know better. Hmm. Club. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. Could be this two-faced friend, probably this Knight of Coins, and even if it might be you trying to get them to listen to you about this, they don't believe you. It's against their will to believe you, even though you're trying to convince them, like, hey, and again, like club, it could have something to do with a club, institution, organization. Paying your dues to something that's taking the money from you. Um, all working together at a business, and you don't know that the boss is actually not paying the bills and that the business is about to go down, but you kind of saw that. You saw the signs of that. You told them that. I mean, take it how it resonates. It might be a metaphor. It might be true for somebody here. It's coming through. Mule, someone extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. King, that is King of Coins in the reverse energy all day long. And my grandpa say, I buy you books and buy you books. You can tell them and tell them and tell them and tell them, and they're just not going to listen. Dolphin. Financial gain usually coming from something you did in the past. Yeah, because you changed your mind. Something you did in the past, where this is coming from, that you already made a decision to look different, to look in a different direction, to try something else, to not put your eggs in this basket at all. You said that dragon is going to grow up and be a huge disruption. It's going to cause a lot of problems, and your radical discontinuity to step away from that was radical. They're like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Dude, I'm trying to tell you. I've experienced this before. I've been there, done that." But they got to go make their own mistakes. You aren't trapped in your head about it. You're okay with it. You're not carrying the burden of it, even though it sucks to see the heartbreak that it's caused and you wish they had listened to you. Bird perched, waiting for news, a letter or a package or a letter. Bad news is coming through. Here, look at this. It moved off, and what's underneath of it? With what popped out? The death card. That change, that transformation. See, judgment in the reverse. Ten of Wands. Look, these are the things that you aren't worried about anymore. You're not carrying it around anymore because you know that it would be a huge burden to let something return to make it's against your better judgment to continue to carry this burden. So you're letting it transform. Moon in reverse under that. Like, you are not confused about this in any way, shape, or form. On the bottom of the deck is a woman. So here's a younger man and here's a woman. Dealings or relationships with a woman. That could be you, or that could be someone else in your energy field here. Just because we got two kings. We got King of Swords in the upright. We got the King of Pentacles in the reverse. And we get two Knights of Wands, one in the upright and one in the reverse. There's no other feminine energy that came out. We didn't get any queens. We got a Page of Cups. All right, Spirit. So then what do we do? Where would you like us to go with this? All right. Let's see if I can get them without causing a disruption, without causing a Helghast. Okay. We have the Celtic Healing Oracle. All right, ancestors, spirits, guides. What would you like to tell the collective about this? What advice would you like to give them as we leave, as we close up this reading? Ancestors, spirits, guides. Wow. The coupling of the earth and the sky, unlimited possibilities. Again, the number 13. The death card popped out, the number 13. We have the young man and the woman here. And look, what's coming underneath that? Fairy lover and sensuality. And you know what's interesting too is there is this soulmate energy and this Six of Cups and the Two of Cups in the reverse, and the Three of Swords, a two-faced friend. Let's see what it says, but I feel like this does definitely have to do with, you could be same gender, you could be opposite gender. It doesn't matter. Just saying that because we have the two kings, but we also have the woman. This could be for anybody or anything. First, we're going to look up the unlimited possibilities, and then we're going to look at this because I feel like you are stepping into a totally different direction and talking about in your relationships, how you handle others, right? How you handle yourself. Invoking steady growth. The mythic sensual union of the sovereign goddess with the god of or mortal king, wow, signifies fertility and prosperity. Their union elects the man as king and grants him otherworldly powers, so long as he is just. The goddess Mur, again, mated with the tribal god, and the queen goddess Meb chose and tested her many sensual partners. The coupling of earth and sky signifies the growth of unlimited possibilities. Hail comes from the sky down to the earth. Sometimes precipitation is sweet and nice, like a gentle rain, and sometimes it blankets over us and covers everything in a cold, white, stark blanket, right? So that everything can bed down, and then it cleanses it off through this. This is the sky meeting the earth in a very disruptive way. Hail, okay? Just keep that in mind. This is the combination of the messages that are coming through. Anticipate the unexpected. The essence of the earth and sky, represented by the union of the sovereign goddess and the mortal man, are joining to prepare a common accord and showering of blessings. The new is possible, yet the success of this transition depends on your attitude. Sensual union creates urgency and possibilities. The intensity of sensual coupling and the union of opposites represents the heat of transformation and the new life. While the marrying of these forces is already within you, the force of birth requires astute steadiness. You may have to slow yourself down and pace yourself, as energy discharged erratically can confuse and disorder. Yet, by relaxing and remaining steady, new life and new possibilities will emerge and grow. Nothing can be hurried. If you are receptive and steady, new possibilities will take root within you in an easy, natural way. Ooh, thank you, Spirit. And that's what I'm saying. It's like moving through this, right? Learning from your past, something new is being offered to you, and you're going to see the stark contrast of the new thing that is, and the new possibilities and the new life and the new couplings of the sky and the earth available to you that are unavailable to those who didn't seek the warning, the lesson, to those who didn't listen to you when you were like, hey, this is what's coming. And they are also going to see that stark contrast. They're also going to see the reward and benefit afforded to you and the consequence bestowed upon them, right? Fairy lover. Sensuality. A fairy lover disguises his or her identity and appears as a beautiful man or woman. Oh, well, look, there they are. The man and the woman. There they are. Approaching by night and in secluded places, the fairy lover courts the intended with poetry and songs, delights in the senses, or promises riches in return for marriage. Occasionally, a man or woman may visit a fairy castle under the ground and meet a comely lover there. These supernatural liaisons are short-lived, usually foiled by amiable but subtle trickery. The sensual and carnal side of your nature is wanting more attention. This oracle suggests that you may be wanting and attracting new or renewed relationships that are both loving and fulfilling. Your body itself may be wanting a deeper and more intimate expression. Your love life may be moving in a new direction. With these new or renewed relationships will bring greater physical and emotional vitality your way. Initiating new activities to meet new people may help to bring you to make you more receptive. In being open to new situations and not repelling them, new acquaintances may develop into sensuous encounters, friendships, and intimacies. The oracle suggests that now may be a good time to satisfy the normal, sensual, and carnal needs of the body with nourishment, comfort, pleasure, and delight. Comforting your needs will also bring a sense of renewed security. Wow. And I love that because after all of this, it's like, here you go, like the Wheel of Fortune. Like I said, your fortunes are changing. Right? New news is coming in. You really learned a lot from this previous experience and you are being rewarded. Maybe rewarded with a new relationship, sixth house, right? Or a relationship that you're seeing in a different way. I really feel like, whether this be, however this resonates for you, whether it be work, friendship, romantic, right? Whatever it might be for you, you get to progress. You get to see how far you've come. You get to see what happens next. In the positive sense, the Wheel of Fortune has changed and you are moving forward, right? And that old thing, that old guard, like if it's somebody coming back from the past offering you something, they have ulterior motives, that that's a dragon, they're offering you something, you say, I'm not picking that up, I'm not picking up that burden, I'm not doing that because I know better. And you get the reward from that. You get to experience something new. You are free from that. Those that you warned that didn't listen, didn't believe you, thought that you were fantastical, thought that you were making something up, didn't believe you. Guess what? They're really getting to see the truth of it now. They're really getting to see that not only were you being honest, not only were you accurate, and that you were trying to tell them something for their greatest and highest good, and they didn't listen. Not only are they seeing all that, but they're also seeing you succeed. They're also seeing all these rewards come to you. They're also seeing you experience this whole new way, this whole new life, and how well it's serving you. And maybe after they're done cleaning up their own mess here, maybe they'll try something different next time someone tells them that the hail is falling. But that's not our problem. That's not your problem. Right now you are getting to celebrate and the whole new. There's nothing trivial about this rune. You are the Great Awakener. You have brought in this judgment call and you have won. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. I hope that was helpful. I hope that you got something out of it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for remembering to hit like and subscribe if this resonated with you. And thanks for coming back and visiting us again next time. Bye.